It's the JT Cho Show!
10, 9,
Welcome everybody to another edition of the JT Show. I'm your host JT, and my puppies are super excited to see me. I just got done with a 12-hour shift, and I thought, what better way to spend your time sleeping than to record a podcast? Because I had a lot of ideas last night. Joe's coming on Tuesday most likely, and then I'll be in Florida with Frankie. We'll be discussing the college football playoff expansion system, plus tons more. I might do like one or two or three, it just depends how much time we have. You guys didn't get to see it. This is Thor. Thor's my pug boxer. He's 4 years old, and he's my most bestest man in the whole wide world. So say hi Thor. He's not for sale, and he's the most best boy ever. So, anyways, I'd like to give another shout out to the Reading Rangers. They won back-to-back state champions for the state of Michigan. They won back-to-back state championships. Not champions. They didn't win a champion. They didn't go play football and then you win a champion. So they won back-to-back. It's really great when you see a small town like Reading. If you're not from towns like this, you drive through it, boom, blink of an eye, you're through it. And these small towns are part of the Big 8 Conference. It's a great conference, which is no way affiliated with this show whatsoever, and their views, yada, yada, yada. I'm just saying, Reading represents the Big 8 so well because of the size of their school, but those kids have the heart of a champion. But shout out to the Reading Rangers, 2019, back-to-back state champions. Congratulations, enjoy it. My high school team went 2-7. We were bad. But I'm not going to sit at a bar in my varsity jacket and talk about it until I'm like 45. No, anyways, so some topics we're going to talk about today. I thought I'd start it out with a little article that I read last night. Pete Davidson, if you know him, SNL, took a break, mental health. It's kind of been having that like up and down year, kind of more ups than downs. For instance, the women that he's dated, Ariana Grande's up, and then they broke up and down, and then he dated that old lady up, and then I saw him like tabloid cover in a Meijer, and I was like, oh, he's dating like a regular chick his age now instead of that old lady who, by the way, I don't even know your name because that's how much I don't pay attention. But anyway, so Pete Davidson kind of got in a little trouble in Florida with comedy and, ranted at the fans. That got out. So I saw this thing on the Instagram last night. And this person called Savannah tweeted, "We saw Pete Davidson at the varsity, but I cannot comment on it because I signed a non-disclosure agreement." And if you break this non-disclosure agreement, it is a $1 million lawsuit on your hand. Now, I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it. I've heard Dave Chappelle talk about it. Louis C.K. does it. I also agree with the reasonings that they have for doing what they're doing, and that is you put your phone in a little baggie, it gets like secured, and then after the show you just leave and take your phone out, and then they take the bag. And some of it's because, they don't want people recording, they don't want people taking their material early. These people are crafting their art. It's one thing that I hope that I get to do one day. But they're taking a year and a half, and they're molding these jokes together. And that would just suck if something that you're planning for almost 2 years, if I started now and I planned a date, let's say January 2021 for my Netflix special filmed at the Fox Theater. But if I had material that I've been working on, and then someone puts it on the internet and spoils the joke. But Pete Davidson's doing this kind of because of those reasons, kind of because of the Florida State thing, like people are always recording, they're not really paying attention to the comedian on stage. A lot of it too, I think, is because of what we're calling the cancel culture, but it's like these people who are like internet keyboard social justice warriors, champions. They just like, they're not even really mad at the thing. They're just trying to be mad at a thing so then they can get other people who are misinformed about the thing even madder. And then they can try to cancel shows that the other people who are like, yeah, that's terrible. They didn't really do the research into it. So this like cancel culture, which you've seen take down celebrities, TV shows, things like that. I mean, that's kind of another reason. That's why you can't even discuss it. You can't YouTube about it, Insta about it, Twitter about it. You have to put your social media. You have to put your phone number, Twitter handle, Instagram handle, email address. They are going to extreme lengths to make sure that someone who saw the show, which I did not because I don't have $1 million. I don't have that, okay? So, I mean, I think he's funny, and people might take this the wrong way, but some of his earlier material are on sensitive subjects, but the man's dad died during 9/11, so the jokes he makes are totally appropriate, and I support his jokes. I support him as a comedian. I'm just saying $1 million is a crazy amount of money for a no-disclosure agreement. And to the cancel culture, I just want to say Obama said stop. Go outside. My message to you is you can sit behind a computer all day and say whatever you want, disagree with somebody, this isn't PC friendly, I'm going to type an angry Yelp review about it. And I understand that some things offend people and other people consider it comedy, and then other people just consider it we're just going to ignore it because it's the issue. But there's like multiple layers on what kind of a social justice warrior you want to be. One of the things that I experienced growing up was bullying, and the only good thing about a bully is you kind of get your limit of what you can say before you get your ass kicked. For instance, what I mean by that is I'm not always the biggest guy in the room, but I'm not at the age that I just go up to somebody and just start jawing at them, hitting on their woman, trying to roast them. I don't try to go up and do that to random people, especially people that are bigger than I am, because I know my limits and I know I can get my ass kicked. So these people that sit behind their computers all day that have never had anybody you can disagree all day, but then when someone throws hands on you, I know it's a different issue, but as a kid, man, when you got your hands thrown out, like when someone was bigger than you, and I'm not condoning bullying, I'm just saying what I went through builds character. And it also kind of goes, hey, I understand, I disagree with this issue, but I'm not going to just type whatever I want. I'm not going to troll. Because I know that, maybe in real life that person could meet you on the streets and they could theoretically kick your ass. Because the internet, as big and huge and random, and you might never meet these people, at any point of your life that you are talking shit, you better be able to back it up physically, because sometimes life hits your front door. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I think they made a movie out of that. But if you truly feel like a certain way about an issue, man, I like Chick-fil-A a lot. I like Raising Cane's better. But I understand there's all those issues. Politicians are tweeting about it now, how could Chick-fil-A turn their backs on the Christians? Chick-fil-A makes really, really good chicken. And I'm willing to ignore more things that they oppose technically as a company because their chicken's so good. If you don't like their politics, I'm not saying I agree with their politics. All I'm saying is I like their chicken. But if you feel so strongly about Chick-fil-A, just don't eat there, okay? Just stop eating there. Period. Done. But the only thing that I disagree with people shoving, because people will protest in real life. I've seen the airports that get petitioned by people laying on the ground, and that's your right as an American. You can do it. I'm happy that you're expressing your First Amendment right. The only thing that I disagree with doing that for protests is with religion, especially when you get into big events, college campuses, the Final Four in San Antonio. You'll see those people with giant signs like, "You're all damned, God's gonna light your house on fire." And I understand that you're trying to portray this message, but you can be proud of your religion, but also be respectful and don't shove it down my throat. I like to ask questions about every religion, everybody that I come across, and I'm never like, "Oh, that's stupid, you're wrong because my religion's right." No, I have my beliefs, you have your beliefs. Just because we have two different beliefs doesn't mean we can't get along. And that's where we are not at right now in America. Because, oh, he's a conservative, I'm a liberal, which I'm not, and I'm not a conservative either. But what I'm saying is, just because I have a different view than you doesn't mean like you have to go into a tantrum, you get all angry. Like, people just get way too, like, "Oh, we don't all think alike, let me get super mad." I just don't understand that. And just because someone disagrees with somebody like that on the internet doesn't mean they have to rally behind everybody and get a cancel culture to come in and, "Oh, this person said this joke that I paid to go see this person, and they said a joke that offended me. So now I'm going to talk about it and try to ruin this person's entire career so they can never tell that joke ever again, even though I could just not be a fan of this person anymore and not try to ruin his career right off the rip." So it's kind of one of those things too, where like you could just be halfway through your work like for instance, Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle toured that entire time. He was touring. He was doing all his, working on his bits. I mean, he's so good. He probably didn't even have to work on it. But no one said a single word, and he said it best in his thing. "You clicked on my face." He's a genius, but no one complained until someone put it on the internet, and then someone was like, "Oh, blah, 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 Dave Chappelle's a bigot, 0 Rotten Tomatoes." Okay, cool. Let's move on. One thing that happened over the weekend, Michigan lost to Ohio State. I don't want to spend my whole time talking about it. People were extremely rude, and if you're an Ohio State fan, be proud. Cool. It sucks. 5 years in a row, it sucks. It's hard. It's enduring, but it's humbling because not everybody's team is going to be good forever. I'm hoping to live to at least 60, but I'm hoping that at some point in my life, when I'm older, Michigan can go on runs like that. And then you're going to have your Clemsons. That program might not even exist. I mean, heck, the NCAA might not even exist in 15 years. But if it does, which I still think it will, and then you have those people that, like, for instance, I've been a Red Wings fan. They gave me 26 straight years. They're going through a slump. It happens. Happened in the 70s and the 80s. And the Tigers, they were good kind of for a little bit in the 70s, and they were kind of good for a little bit late 2005, 6, all the way till, I'll give them till 12, 13. They suck. You guys lost like 100 games this year, but I love you because I know it happens. I'm not a Lions fan, though. I don't know what they go through. But Shea Patterson played well. I've been a huge critic of Shea his entire career with Michigan. He played well, still fumbled the ball though. Couldn't take care of it. As soon as he fumbled the ball, I said, here we go. Here's where they start pulling ahead. And the only other thing that I really want to talk about today about that game is all those other Big Ten fans that Michigan beat. Because, 9-3 on the season. I know it's not the national championship, back to the playoffs, Big Ten championship. Because Ohio State right now is the number one team in the nation. And yes, as a Michigan fan, it kills me to say that. But people are like, you got blown out. Yes, by the best program in the college football system at the current time. And yes, we're ranked 13th. And yes, ranking shouldn't matter. And people have upset number one teams. But the better team won today. Period. Hands down. But you get these Michigan State fans that are like, oh, let me hear the excuses, Michigan. Let me hear your excuse. We killed you. Take care of your own team first. You barely won today against Maryland. Why are you commenting on Michigan when you already lost to Michigan? You can't say, "Oh, I'm so glad Michigan lost." You can say that, but what I'm saying is you can't just be more happy. You're more happy that Ohio State beat Michigan because you couldn't. And that's my problem with it. Michigan State lost to Michigan this year, period. But I do have to give a shout out, though, to Michigan State, to Josh Butler. Unfortunately, this young man, his parents died while he was in school. So he brought these two heckin' cute woofers on the field. They were both his. I retweeted it on my Twitter, JT of Jayville. But it's just one of those moments in sports where you're just like, this is why people watch sports. You get your big moments, but man, when ESPN plays those heartbreaking stories that touch everyone's hearts, it's like going to see Mr. Rogers' movie all over again. I have to fight back the tears. I'm waking up at 11 watching College Game Day. I'm yeah, Saturday morning. What mascot helmet is he going to put on today? Who's getting booed? What's the best college football sign? All that jazz. And I'm all riled up. It's 11 a.m. Got a pizza in the oven or hot dogs on the grill or hamburgers on the grill. You got your day planned around college football. Your whole day. You're waking up watching college games. Sometimes you wake up. I work nights, so 11 I at least catch the picks. But you wake up and watch the entire thing front to back. And you hear some great stories about programs you've never even heard of. And then you hear those really touching pieces. And this is kind of one of those touching pieces. And that's why I love animals. And, animals are fantastic. But that was a really cool moment that happened on Saturday. But everything else that Michigan State did, especially talking a whole bunch of smack to Michigan, well, guess what? You guys lost to us. See you later, alligator. I had somebody ask me the other day... I'm not big at all right now. I've got 9 downloads, maybe 20 views. A lot of them are my friends, and I do want to say from early on right now, I am super duper glad that I have people right now who are like, hey, let me check it out. I'll at least listen to it. Hey, I want to be on it. I've had friends, for instance, Cut. He's already been on an episode. He'll be on lots of episodes. He's very supportive. Him and Real Fake Gary, he actually helped me shoot. They actually both did. We're in a group chat, and I was throwing hey, pictures, podcast, this and that. And I was throwing them back and forth ideas, and I was going to use this anime picture, but I decided to go with Harrison Ford, my cat. So I took his picture, threw some different filters on it, using this free app. I'll give a shout out to the app because I feel like they deserve it, but it's called Artisto. And so I used that app, and then I threw those pictures together, and then they helped me pick a font. And hey, I think that's a heckin' cool podcast cover. But I have friends who are already Big E, Earl. the Duke of Stew Nation. He's probably going to come on the podcast and tell you what a stew's all about. A lot's more. We have a lot in common, Joe. So like I said earlier, Joe's coming on Tuesday, most likely. We're probably going to be talking about some Dungeons and Dragons, some video gaming, maybe how the new Call of Duty's going. And my boy Frankie, not Barstool's Frankie, but my boy Frankie. He's from Philly. We'll be talking about college football. We'll be talking about Big Ten. He'll talk about Penn State. He'll talk about Philadelphia. He'll talk about talking about stuff. It'll be good. There'll be a lot of material from that. But I just have a lot of friends right now. Hill, he's been low-key promoting me. I mean, he throws me up on his feeds. I see it. I appreciate every single time somebody that I personally know promotes what I'm doing, because I mean, I like doing this. I just got done working a 12-hour shift. I woke up yesterday on Saturday to watch Michigan, and that was at noon, and it's 8:09 a.m. right now. So if I do some quick maths, that's like 20 hours and 9 minutes. If that's right, you're welcome, Mr. Van Sickle. But if that's wrong, I'm sorry I let you down, Mr. Van Sickle. He was my math teacher. So let's do some quick picks. I thought this would be kind of cool if I threw these in a show every now and then for the NFL season. So all the games that are going to be playing this Sunday, I'm going to take Jacksonville over Tampa Bay. I'm going to take Baltimore over San Francisco. Which I think, by the way, I kind of had like a miniature argument, not really an argument, just kind of a let's express how we feel about the situation. With a Patriots fan, I said, hey, I understand, by the way, that they don't swap, like, oh, this game's going to be way better. You guys are going to get pushed up, and they don't do that. But I'm just saying, like, to me, as a Packers fan, and I'm going to watch the Packers game, but I think the most exciting game, and I'll have that other game on another TV or a laptop, but I think the Baltimore-San Francisco game is the most exciting game that's going to be happening on Sunday. The most exciting matchup, and it could be a potential Super Bowl matchup, but I think that's going to be the most exciting game because you're going to see if a team can stop Lamar Jackson. I know he's not unstoppable, but what he's doing right now, it's frankly quite impressive. I think Pittsburgh wins over Cleveland. Here's why. They benched Mason Rudolph, so he's not going to carry in these emotions where he's just chucking the ball as hard as he can into holes that he shouldn't. That's what she said. And I think Pittsburgh's going to come in with a lot of heart, and they're going to mop up Baker. I mean, I've been wrong about betting against Baker twice, but I'll bet on it right now. I bet Pittsburgh over Cleveland. So Carolina over Washington. Washington's not good. Hopefully Haskins takes more selfies and misses more football because he's from Ohio State. I'm salty. Miami over Philly is my surprise pick. I think that Philadelphia, they're in the hunt right now, but I think Miami's just going to come in there with some trickery, maybe a few flea flickers, or they're going to come in with something that's going to throw Philadelphia off, and I think Miami gets the win over Philly. Green Bay, go Pat, go, over New York Giants. Tennessee over Indiana. Cincinnati, let's get their first win of the season against the New York Jets. And even though I said Miami over Philly is my surprise pick, I understand that Cincinnati getting their very first win would be a surprise pick, but I think the more probable game to happen would be Miami over Philly. I'm going to take Arizona over the Los Angeles Rams. I've been reading articles about how the coaching staff's trying to do what the Baltimores do with Lamar Jackson. So they're going to try to mold their offense around this young rookie so he can excel like Lamar Jackson is excelling at the current time. Kansas City over Oakland. Patrick Mahomes, I think he gets it done. The Chargers over the Broncos. The Broncos aren't good this year. New England Patriots over Houston. I think Bill Belichick's the smartest coach to ever live. And Monday Night Football, Seattle over Minnesota. I think Russell's saying he wants to play till he's 45. Well, good luck to you, bud. Because Tom Brady's not even 45 yet, and he's starting to slow down some. Football takes a lot of toll on your body. I mean, heck, I just played an alumni game against some high school kids on Friday, and I am sore from that. I'm 29, and they were running up and down the court, and I was like, do you guys run like all the time? But it was pretty funny, though, because some of the out-of-bounds plays, which are very simple, I understand basketball, like, play calling a lot, but some of these original plays that I grew up with in the system, they run a little bit, they run a different offense than we do for sure, but some of their out-of-bounds plays, which are, I mean, not just exclusive to that high school, but some of the plays I remember exactly. So they would call a play, like the ball would roll out of bounds. It's just a scrimmage. The coach would come over and say, blankety blank play. And I said, oh, well, this person's going to pass the ball. They're going to set a pick. The guy coming from inbound's going to take that. And I'm like, boom, bam. And they're like, how do you remember that? And I was like, because you get drilled. You get that drilled in your head every single week. And there's certain plays in football, like growing up and playing 4 years of football, where I'm like, oh yeah, this play is exactly set up like this because you ran it so many times that it just gets drilled into your brain. And a lot of the time because I sat at the bench for a while too for basketball, so a lot of the times I'd be in and they'd be talking about the offense. I would learn every single person's position on the offense because I had nothing better to do. So sometimes when you're, going through practice, you're like, this person does this, and then you get down and you're setting your picks, and they're like, not doing, and you're like, hey man, you're supposed to be coming up this pick, and they're like, how do you just know that? And you're like, dude, because I just know like what everyone's supposed to be doing. I'm not saying I'm the smartest basketball player ever played. No, I'm just saying I learned so much about basketball growing up that I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly what play we're about to run here. And I'm not saying that if I started coaching boys basketball for high school, that I would just know everything to do. That was so familiar to me that I automatically knew what was going on. Kind of excited for Cyber Monday. That's coming up tomorrow, and I'm going to look for some slippers, a new comforter. Being an adult sucks. You're like, yeah, video games, but now you're like, oh yeah, dishes are on sale, and they're the ones you like, and I live by myself, and I have plates from Walmart. But I'm buying a lot of gifts on Cyber Monday, a few gifts for me, but I'm going to get some new pop figures for myself because, I mean, come on. I love them. They'll be on sale for like maybe 10, 20% off here and there. Other things that I'm getting I can't disclose just in case people that I know are listening, but Cyber Monday's happening, and I actually enjoy that more than Black Friday because you don't have to deal with any of the crowds. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to fight with other people. You just sit on your computer and clickety-clack, don't come back, and you just get through a lot of your shopping list, and it just delivers right to your house. And all you got to do is make sure the package doesn't get stolen off your porch. But there's things that I have saved on certain websites. I'm hoping to get maybe a new game for the Switch or Xbox. Xbox Cyber Monday deals are also pretty good a lot. I might pick up Diablo 3. I wish it was cross-platform, but it is not. Stop saying but Diablo 3 also comes, I think right now it's $24.99 for the Switch. It'd be a kind of cool Switch game, but I got to see what the interest is with the rest of my playing group because we've been playing Call of Duty together, Apex together. Sometimes we hop on hockey. We haven't in a long time. We used to hop on PUBG all the time. Oh boy, you can tell I worked a 12-hour shift. But usually when we're buying like cross-platform games or because right now we all play Call of Duty. Joe's on PC, Master Race, and I have one guy called Razorback. He likes Arkansas. He lives in Arkansas. Never plays with us though. And by the way, I'm not gonna play with somebody on PlayStation cross-platform just to get murdered by PCers. And sometimes you can't tell the difference, and sometimes you get into a cross-platform lobby and you're smoking kids left and right, and sometimes you get in an Xbox only lobby and you're getting your ace kicked right off the map. So what I'm saying is sometimes people fear playing PC. I mean, there's some PCers out there that you're just like, this guy's got to be on PC. His turn radius is too sharp. It is the master race when it comes to playing video games. The best players of video games, 99% of the time, or whatever the stat is, are on PC. They've got the mouse handling down. It's scary. But I'm not going to play with somebody on PlayStation just to play with them when I have to play with a whole bunch of people on PC and they're just going to smoke me. But I don't mind playing cross-platform when we have people playing PCs with us. And it's not like Joe is the best player ever. I'm not even the best player ever. I'm terrible this year. I have roughly, I'd say, 800 deaths more than I do kills this time around in Call of Duty. It's my first Call of Duty in like 3 years that I bought like right on the day one. I think I bought last year's Call of Duty on Black Friday for like $30, which was entertaining. I really liked the game mode Heist. I like game modes more than just team deathmatch, and I'll kind of explain why. But this is the first Call of Duty that I bought, and I'm not very good at it. And it's not like, Joe comes in and Joe's smoking 50 kills, 10 deaths every round. Like we'll each have kind of a good round as a team. We were rolling the other day. It was me, Ink Bomb, and Joe. Ink Bomb's Earl. And we were just rolling. We rolled for like 4 hours, and we didn't lose very much. It was awesome. And I love those days. But it's not all about winning all the time, I understand, but I'm not going to just keep getting smoked by PCers if I don't have to. I'll explain to you why I like game modes like Heist. Heist is kind of a faster-paced version of Search and Destroy, and that's why I also like Cyber Attack. Search and Destroy back in the day, Call of Duty World at War, I was ripping people. I would play with people who were in the top 10. Jack from Chicago was in the top 10. I would play against this one clan called the Moms and Dads, which I was like, I'm still friends with, some of them. We don't really play anymore, but back in 2008, what would happen is they'd be they would invite you to a lobby. So they'd be a party of 6 waiting to match with somebody, but it's hard to match a party of 6. So they would invite one person, and then slowly, like some teams of 2 and 3 to trickle in, and they would all just wreck you because they're playing 6v, 1v, 2v3, meaning there's one team of 3 that are communicating with each other. One team. It's very rare where everyone's not using party chat and everyone's communicating, especially on a random game mode. And sometimes you don't want to hear random people and you just want to talk to people. It's very rare that all 6 people randomly that you just met are all on the game channel hub and you're working together. But they would do that, so I would have to text people, and eventually we would get into a lobby where I would invite somebody, and since they're partied up at 6, they're automatically going to be in my team. Boom, 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 boom. And eventually it'd be Mads Clan versus all my friends who finally hopped online, which we called ourselves the Camp Clan, ironically. And we would just go back and forth. And a lot of the times when you beat them once or twice or 3 times in a row, they would leave because they didn't want their KDs, they didn't want their win-loss ratios going down, and then we would back out and party up because we'd be playing some good Search and Destroy. Cyber Attack, a lot of fun. Yeah, it's one death, but you can revive your teammate, and I like the fact that you can't move around like Apex because sometimes it's really annoying. Back and forth, there's things you wish you could do. I really like Apex's targeting system, but I hate when you kill somebody on the enemy team, and then they're just giving your position away because they're dead. They can still like see you and watch the kill cam and explain where you're coming from, but it's not like they crawl around the whole time when they're in second chance and they just keep tagging exactly where you're at. So I like that way. I like the way that game mode's set up. I still like playing search. Kill confirm's a lot of fun too, especially if you use the perk that your kill streaks are based off your points. So you're getting 125, I think, for a kill and collecting dog tags. I think that's what it is. So if you're running around the map, you can just start smoking people, taking dog tags left and right, and you can just really, really pump up your score, get your kill streaks early, and things like that. So moving away a little bit from Call of Duty-ish is... sorry, my computer has this update thing going on, so I keep getting distracted because it keeps just randomly popping up like, hey, are you sure that you don't want to update right now? But this article that happened over the Thanksgiving weekend in Van Buren, if I say it wrong, I apologize, but Van Buren, Maine, it's either Bernie or Burn, but I'm pretty sure it's Burn. But so this guy named Ronald in Van Buren, Maine, he accidentally set off a booby trap that killed him on Thanksgiving weekend. Now, I'm really sorry that the family had to go through all that jazz, but the fact that you set up a booby trap in your house and it killed you because you most likely forgot about it or accidentally hit the second doorbell or you forgot to pull the green book out of the bookshelf. I mean, that'd be like if I turned All Might both facing each other and then I pressed a button. That's the only way the bookshelf opens. And if I just hit the button, I fall through a pit. And first, the article that I was reading didn't say how he did it. It was just, this happened, booby-trapped house. The state police had a bomb squad for Maine, and they had to go through the house because apparently some of the other parts of the house were booby-trapped. So this guy just had like a medieval castle. Like he probably had the lever thing where you pull it and they drop into some alligators. Like, I wonder if he had some booby traps like Tomb Raider or Skyrim where like you got some saws swinging back and forth, or an axe comes out of the grandfather clock, or who booby traps their house? A pressure plate, a swinging gate hits you. It just like, I'm sorry he's dead, but he died to a booby. He booby trapped his house, and it took a professional bomb squad. They had to go through his entire house to make sure that, the rest of his family was safe because, of this tragedy. But he had to make sure that they were safe. So it took professional bomb squad people to disarm all these other booby traps. And the booby trap, what it was a gun that fired and hit him if someone tried to enter the house, with forced entry or illegally. I didn't really read into the article that much, but it was basically a gun that killed him. So it wasn't a giant mallet. It wasn't like, he rings the doorbell, but it's on this pressure plate, and he didn't have the right amount of sand, and he took the diamond off, and the ball, and a big ball rolled down, and it's not like that happened. He got shot by a gun. So if you can learn any lesson from this whatsoever, never forget your booby traps in your house. The lesson's not to not booby trap your house, because booby trapping your house is what Home Alone 1 and 2, and we're not going to count the rest of them. That's entirely what the movie is based on. It's set booby traps, and they saved his life. Without booby traps, Coley McCulkin would be dead. All right, they would have strangled the kid. There wouldn't be a sequel. You wouldn't meet Pigeon Lady. He'd be dead. But he booby trapped his house to some dumb criminals. Family Guy makes a great joke where one of them just pulls out a gun and shoots Coley McCulkin in the head, and that's just like a competent robber. But I think that's pretty funny because it's a comedy. These grown men who are terrible burglars, they're getting outsmarted by a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, however old he is. But those parents never got called in the child services, and they left their little kid at home. Terrible trap. But if he didn't booby trap his house, he'd be dead, and we would have never got the sequel. But other than that, I'm going to cut this podcast short. It's roughly around 8:30. I usually try to go for about an hour, but, feeling a little tired. But I kind of just want to get some topics off. But like I said, like, subscribe, JT of Jayville, all that jazz. Share. You can tweet me. You leave comments. Rate it. iTunes. I did say that if more people suggested I start uploading my things to different formats, then I would. One of them was called, I think, Pocket Cast. I'm an iPhone guy. Kill me for it. It's not very user-friendly with the iPhone, or maybe I was doing it wrong and I need to do more research. So right now, primarily, I'm just going to be uploading to iTunes. But, if I get more subscribers, more people that like it, eventually, I'll upload it to every single platform that I can. Get some, merch and some brand out there, things like that. But this is the third one. It doesn't happen overnight. I got to grind. I got to get better. This wasn't even one of my good ones. This is just me. I got off of work. I was like, you know what made me feel good? If I did a podcast right before I go to bed. And yeah, I'm a little tired, but I did have a good time. And, if you made it this far, thanks for listening. Hit me up on any social media. You guys have a blessed Sunday. Have a happy Cyber Monday. Captain's Log signing out. The JT Show.